Now, it's been a while since we've actually taken a look at a new case here on the channel, and this time we've got something completely different. This one was sent to us by InWin, and it takes building a custom gaming PC to the next level because this one you have to build yourself. So the case that we're looking at today is the InWin Airforce, and it is a DIY case. That means it comes in lots of different parts and you have to put it together. It's as if you bought a case from IKEA or something. This one was actually sent to us by InWin recently. They asked us to take a look at it, and you know that we love to have some unique things here on the channel, so I thought it was definitely worth taking a look at because I knew that you guys would be super interested in it. I haven't actually even opened the box yet, so we'll crack into it and we'll see what kind of parts we actually get. Once it's built, this case should be a mid-tower ATX case, so it should be big enough and plenty enough for most people out there. It does come in lots of different parts, so of course you'll need your manual to be able to build it. There are videos online that they provide if you want to go through them first. I think we're going to go through the manual version because I think that's going to be a little bit more fun. Building your own case is actually taking it to the next level. It sounds like it's something that's super fun to do, so it's really good to see a brand out there doing this kind of thing, but I'm hoping today that we do actually get it together perfectly fine because it looks like there's a lot of steps involved. They have actually packaged it very well. You get lots of things in little Ziploc bags. These are, I don't really know what they are. There are lots of connections, lots of screws. We'll have to sort them out in a minute. They provide other things, so we've got the front I/O panel that comes separate in this bag, so that's obviously to get your front I/O on the case, and because you're building it yourself you'll have to install that yourself. It comes with lots of other things. This is the feet for it, I believe, so you've got feet on the case so you can actually stand it up, so we're going to have to put them on ourselves too. And then they also provide a number of fans, which is actually a pretty good feature because I didn't think it would come with fans, but of course it does. These are the InWin Lunar AL120s. They're RGB fans. I don't really know much about them. It says that they do have RGB sync on them, so I'm hoping they do come with standard connections and things. It'd be a little bit annoying if they don't, but I think they do, and it appears you actually get 4 of them, so there's a pack of 3 and there's also one on its own. That's enough to give you 3 intake fans on the front and 1 on the back. I'm not 100% sure as well what kind of fan configurations you can get in this case because, like I say, I haven't actually built it yet. I've looked at some of the specifications, but I didn't want to spoil too much because I really wanted to actually just build it. There's another box here that actually has some I'm not quite sure what's in here. I'll just open that up. We've got some more kind of brackets. I'm not really sure what they're for. I think they're hard drive caddy brackets, so you're going to have to install them yourself. It does include hard drive brackets, of course, so you can still fit your 3.5-inch drives if that's the kind of thing that you're still using, but we'll put them back in the box for now. And then we start coming to the main components of this. On the top, we do have these little bags here that are labeled A, B, and C. I believe they're the corners of the case because you need to, of course, put it together yourself, so you'll need some corners. This one here, so letter C, does have a slot in it, so that's probably where your front I/O is going to go. And then we have another one here, which is going to be the 3rd corner of the whole case. I'm not 100% sure what the 4th corner of the case is going to be like, but I'm sure we'll get there as we go through this box. One thing to note is that there is plenty of packaging in this box, so be prepared to have a lot of space to be able to build this case. I'm not quite sure I have enough space here, but we'll see how far we get with it, but I'll just keep throwing that down there. Just underneath that one, we do have a couple of panels here. These are anti-dust panels, and they are magnetic as well. There's magnetic strips running down the sides, so of course that's going to be fit onto the case, probably the last thing that you do. Then we have some other pieces here. These are going to make up the sides of the case. Again, they may be unique to which way you're putting them around. They do seem to have fan mount holes in them all the way down. So we have 3 of them. That's going to make the other 3 sides. I assume it's going to be the bottom, the front, and the top. So we could probably fit quite a few fans in this system, to be fair. Digging deeper into the box, we've now found the rear panel. This is obviously where your I/O shield's going to go, a rear fan mount, your PCI slots, which don't come with any kind of covers. They must come somewhere else in the box. And of course, where your power supply is going to be mounted down below there. Continuing on through the box, we do have these U-shaped brackets here. These are going to make up the sides of the case. You're going to have to bolt them all together yourself, so we'll put them down there. There's 4 of them, so we're going to have to put a top bottom, and that's going to make the front and back, I hope. And then we continue to dig even deeper. This is just the first layer, by the way. We've only just gone through the first layer of the box, so there's plenty more involved in this. The second layer of the box has a back panel in it. Now this gives you a rough guide size to how big the case is actually going to be once you install your motherboard. I'm not 100% sure which way it goes round. I think when you're looking at it from the front, it's going to go that way round because we've got a big hole there, which is usually the back of the motherboard, so you can change coolers and things, but it's got plenty of holes in it, and I'm sure once we start to dig it out, we'll see how useful it really is. we're gonna just pop that on there. Again, we're running out of space quite easily here. That takes out the second layer there, which had that in it. And then we come to the third layer where we have some side panels. Now the side panels on this, I originally thought were going to be in plastic, but they're actually not. If we just slide that out there, they are tempered glass and they are clickable in. You don't actually screw them down or anything, but I'm sure we'll get to that point once we actually get to building the whole case. That is going to be one of the panels there. And then underneath the, I think we're on the third layer now, or fourth layer. We'll just pop that down there. We have another panel, which actually makes the last panel overall. So this case does come with two glass panels for the front and back. That does mean that you're going to see the back of the case. So I'm not sure what kind of cable management we get in this, but it does mean you're going to have to make it nice and clean if you really do want to show off the back of your case. Hopefully you can put it against a wall if you don't. But that is all of the parts in the box. That's the last piece. Of course, everything's falling over now, but we do have the other glass panel. We'll put them back in the box for now because that's going to be one of the last things that we actually install. Then we'll take this back panel for your motherboard. We'll put that back in the box for now because we're going to install that later. And we'll also put the rear panel back in the box because what I want to do is actually probably start with getting the frame built, getting the panels in, see where we can actually mount fans and stuff. So that is all of the parts in this setup. We've got big bags of screws. I'm going to have to figure out which ones are them, but I suppose the first thing that we need to do really is just read the manual.
One eternity later.
Okay, so I've gone through the manual and I have a rough idea of how this system goes together. So I suppose now all we need to do is build it. Now, before we talk about the case itself, let's talk about the build process. This case is actually pretty simple to build. There's not really that many parts to it when you actually start getting things together, but it can become frustrating in times. And that's because a lot of the parts are so similar that you just get them in the wrong places. When I was actually building this, I actually installed the bottom wrong. So I had the top and the bottom installed the wrong way round. And I also had one of the corner pieces installed the wrong way round. And if you do that, you pretty much need to take it all apart again, and that means removing a lot of screws. There are a lot of screws holding this case together, which is a good thing in a sense because it does mean that it's super strong once it's done, I thought this was going to be much more flimsier than it is, but the amount of screws holding it together, it's purely just going to strengthen it with steel more than anything. The instructions for it are not that clear. They are just some drawn pictures, so trying to understand which way things go round can be a little bit awkward, but it is an experience and it is quite enjoyable. I would recommend though, anybody building one of these has to have lots and lots of space, and because the sides of it are plastic, make sure that you have a soft surface to build it on, otherwise you're going to get scratches all around the sides. I'm pretty sure that I've got some scratches on this one from this desk here, and this is not the roughest surface out there, so make sure that you are aware of that when you come to build it. Make sure you've got lots of space to be able to get parts out, and also they do number the bags, or at least put little letters on them. Once you remove them from the bags, you don't know what number part it is anymore, so be aware of that. Make sure that as you're building it, you just take it out the bag and straight into there, whereas what I did is I actually just removed all the parts from the bags and then tried to build it, so that was a little bit more awkward. As far as being a case though, it's actually pretty good. There's plenty of space in here. You can pretty much fit any graphics card you want. You can fit pretty much any power supply you want. I haven't installed the hard drive holders because I don't really use hard drives, but without that in there, of course, you've got this full length tray here to be able to put a power supply in. It is a mid-tower ATX case, so you can fit a full ATX board in there, or a micro ATX or an ITX. When it comes to cooling, you've pretty much got all the options that you need. You can fit up to 3 120mm fans at the front, 3 at the top, 1 in the back, and you can potentially fit some in the bottom too, depending on how big your power supply is. You can at least fit 1 at the front there, so that's not too bad. You can get plenty of airflow through the system, although it is more of an open frame thing because there's lots of air gaps all around it just because of the way that you have to construct it. When it comes to the front and top panel, you do only have these dust protectors here. If you just remove them, you can see the plastic where you screw your fans in. There's nothing fancy that go onto these. The instructions do actually refer to a different type of panel, but for some reason I only got these types, which are type 1 I think. They just simply just go onto there like that, and they're held on by magnets, so that's not the best quality, but at least it gives you something and it gives it a nice clean look. If we just tip the case onto its side here, you can have a look at the front I/O. They've pretty much thought of everything when it comes to front I/O for this. We've got USB-C, which is great to see, particularly for the price of this case. We've got a headphone jack, a microphone jack, 2 USB 3s, indication lights, and a power switch. There is no reset switch on this, although it probably just jerry-rigs off the power switch itself, but apart from that, you get everything you need. Both side panels are tempered glass, that's front and back, so you have to be careful of your cable management here. Make sure that you actually keep it tidy, otherwise you can just see straight through the back panel. They do put a bit of a tint on it, so you shouldn't see too much through the back panel because there's generally no lighting there. But with any lighting in the front, of course, you'll be able to see that straight through the panel too. I'm actually reasonably impressed with how this case went together. It's super strong, it's got plenty of space, you can fit as much stuff in there as you really want. Is it actually worth the £200 that this case sells for? Well, when it comes to the case itself, probably not so much. It is a nice big case and you can pretty much do anything you want with it, but there are plenty of cases out there much cheaper that will give you all of those features. But when it comes to experience, I think it's a little bit different. They are the only ones that I've seen out there where you get to build it yourself, and if you want to extend the building a PC experience, of course this case is really going to do that for you. You just need to be careful as you do it. As you guys know, we really do like to see quirky things on the channel, and this is one of the quirkiest cases we've ever actually had, so I want to thank InWin for actually sending it across. It's been really nice taking a look at it. I do have some ideas of what I want to do with this case. I want to put a build in here, but something unique. You guys won't want to miss that, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments below, would you buy a DIY case and build it yourself, or is that something that's just not interested you? You just want to get a build done as quick as possible. And I'm sure as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one.